All right, let's take a look at this. So I just found out today that they've released a new video in the Fog of War series. I actually kind of need to play a little bit of catch up on this series. For some reason I wasn't receiving the full notifications for these. But we're going to take a look at this one. This one looks like it's going to be an environmental showcase. And let's kind of see what they're doing here. Fun little logo.
Hi, welcome to a new episode of Fog of War. I'm Matt Kuzminski, Art Director on Dawn of War 3.
And I'm Tristan Brett, Lead Environment Artist on Dawn of War 3.
Cibers Ultima is our medieval world that expresses the sort of way of life or the style of life that people in the 41st millennium experience.
Ooh, I'm seeing some
details that we did as well. There's little,
seeing some sandbags there, some barricades.
And stuff in the non-playable spaces that
That's
kind of
nice.
draw your eye a little bit, not too much that it competes with gameplay, but enough that you sort of see little corners of the map that make you go, oh, that's cool. That's
I like the patrolling little mini Titan there. All in all, I'm really liking the texture work and the
natural rock sets
bump
were
mapping here.
designed in a way that the artist had a lot of freedom to create some unique rock formations.
I like the
Walls and
bronze
structures were
against the
designed
gray.
in a modular way, so they could tile vertically and horizontally to allow us to create a lot of different unique layouts. Gave the design.
This is interesting.
A lot of freedom to.
This is obviously an Eldar structure of some type.
The whole intent around Cage World was to create something very alien and very disorienting. And also, for me, I wanted to do something that players had never really seen in a Dawn of War game before, something very, very unique. Derived from the idea that you could build a world out of sort of interconnecting blocks of almost living metal, so to speak. The desire to like revisit the worlds was something that was really important to me, and it was something that I put to as a challenge.
Nice depiction of the orc base here.
Like, how can we create these worlds so that when I look at them, they still feel very 40K.
I'm seeing a lot of. There's still, this is supposed to be a different world here, but again, I'm seeing a lot of bronze and gray theme. I hope they vary up the color schemes for different worlds.
That makes the player feel like, hey, I can come back to this place, and there's sort of something appealing about it. There's something intriguing, and that there's
Get to the chopper.
But that I can also, see the action. I can see the battle taking place.
So Starfort, it's a rather new tile set in the Dawn of War franchise with some of our technology, with Alpha Terrain, basically unstrapped us from the ground and let us do something that, in space or in lore. And the architecture is sort of not...
Okay, so the textures here are different. This feels different from the texture perspective, but again, we're seeing this repetition of the same color schemes. Again, I would hope for different worlds you would invoke different color schemes, create different feels.
Battle barge type of map was really exciting.
The sheer scale of them and the size of the weaponry on this.
That looks badass.
Expression of Imperium technology.
Crashed orc ship.
From an engineering and design standpoint, how would these structures be built? How thick do the walls need to be to support a 300-foot cathedral, for example? How all the different pieces of the
I do like the floating over the backdrop there.
Yeah, this structure could actually...
And see, just to show you that you're not locked into these color schemes, we can see here with the Bloodraven, red there.
So the way I look at maps a lot of time is just it's a canvas for the units.
It's not like this universe locks you into color schemes, especially if you look at the way people paint their miniatures on the tabletop. They go for all kinds of different looks and feels for their army.
Acheron is the most violent world that we have.
Alright, now we're seeing something a little different. I like this.
There's these ever-shifting glaciers of
Again,
ice
I like that contrast here.
Across the surface, and they're perpetually
So ice and magma, nice.
Into the volcanic action.
Now we're seeing something more along the lines with like black and reds.
That had an element of beauty to it. That was, when I look at it, I'm like,
ooh,
really, really cool.
Eldar Mini Titan there.
But there's something neat about escaping into that world, and that was part of the challenge. And part of it was creating this
I do like
that would invite you
the
in.
work that they've
And
done
is
with the
a very
modeling.
iterative process that is constantly going
I
back.
mean,
saying,
considering the fact that we're
well,
looking at an
let's be
RTS,
friendly and let's do happy,
you know, how
let's be
detailed the
let's
models
start
feel. They not necessarily
player
are that
that
detailed when we get close to them,
parse out
but they
the
feel
details,
detailed from this
parse out
perspective.
What was gameplay and what was just
Again, some
visual noise,
just absolutely
what was
gorgeous
just
texture and bump work.
decoration in the maps. So a lot of it was like, okay, hold on, let's think about what we.
Oh yeah, this is what I'm talking about for different worlds. This is a different and very cool environment. This is very badass there.
Really interesting and cool. So there you have it. Some of the environments you're going to be seeing in Dawn of War 3.
Thanks for watching, and I can't wait for you guys to play the game.
Obviously, we've already watched that, and I didn't record the Eldar gameplay thing, though I did watch it. Alright, so, the game is looking really gorgeous. I really like the look of the game. I really like the look and the feel that they've created for these battle spaces. This looks like it's going to be just a kind of realization of this universe that I think a lot of us have been, hoping to see again as, computing technology has improved. Again, as I said multiple times over the course of the videos, the texture work and the depths that they created with like the bump mapping looks absolutely fantastic. I got no complaints there. Again, my only complaint, and again, we only saw a handful of worlds, obviously. We don't know how many worlds the campaign's going to stretch over. But it just kept returning to this gray and bronze aesthetic. Now, obviously, in the last world, we got a really, really gorgeous look at something, completely different. Something I don't think we've seen very often in a sci-fi universe, which is a contrast between a glacial world and a magma world in the same world. And they obviously switched to more of a black and red color scheme. But, to me, like, one of the first things you can do if you're going to try to differentiate the worlds that you're fighting on is you look at the colors. And especially in the 40K universe, a universe that is so centered around the individual colors that players like to use, it seems like they could have gone for some more color feels and different palettes for various worlds. And they seem to have lost that opportunity a little bit. But again, we haven't seen obviously anywhere near the full game yet. And again, just because they repeated the color scheme, we had the one world was like the different blocks that moved and interlocked with each other. We had a floating cathedral where you could actually like see over the edge and see down and like see the battlefield below it or the world below it. And the worlds and the forms that they created as far as like their texture work and their the way that they varied up the bump mapping for various textures that they were using, even though they used a lot of those same color palettes, it seems to me that they did succeed in creating some individual fields. So in the end, my complaint about, not mixing up the colors a little bit more might be a nitpick and not much more. Additionally, I think it can't be understated just how good this looks so far. I mean, again, with an RTS, you don't necessarily have to use like the same level of detail you would put into another game. And I'm sure like if we were to get like really, really up close and personal with a lot of these models and, a lot of these textures, maybe then, some seams might start to tear a little bit. But that's not the point, because this is an RTS. It is supposed to be from that further above, top-down perspective for the most part. And so the fact that they have managed to achieve such a level of feel and detail for their landscape work and their model work is, I think, really impressive. And like I said, I can't wait to see what in the final product, when we finally get the final product. I can't wait to see what we kind of get to, what a full-on battle will look like when you get two endgame armies clashing above these detailed terrains. I think we could be seeing something that's just going to be absolutely fantastic, and the kind of thing that 40K gamers have been waiting for a while. So that's my thoughts on this new Dawn of War teaser, this new kind of reveal of these various worlds that we're going to be looking at in the campaign. Again, trying not to get overhyped. Failing, but trying. And I guess that's all there is to the matter right now. Divine Erdrick out.